African news update on top accolade news. From power struggles in Africa to trade battles, visa crackdown and global sports under scrutiny, today's headlines show how politics, policy and human stories intersect. Here's what you need to know and why it matters. Let's get into the headlines. Kenya puts Gachagua on notice over unauthorized rallies. Legal challenge seeks to block Biya's 8-term bid in Cameroon. South Africa considers tariffs to protect steel industry from Chinese imports. Washington suspends Zimbabwe visa services. We start in politics with a story where Kenya puts Gachagua on notice over unauthorized rallies. Kenya's Interior Cabinet Secretary and the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja has cautioned former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua against staging unauthorized rallies upon his return from the United States, warning that any breach of peace will not be tolerated. Authorities stress that while political gatherings are allowed, they must be lawfully notified to the police and remain peaceful, free from violence, looting, or disruption of public order. Gachagua, who recently alleged that President William Ruto's administration has ties to Sudan's RSF and Somalia's Al-Shabaab, could be summoned to record a statement over his remarks, raising the stakes ahead of his arrival. Meanwhile, his Democracy for Citizens party insists the procession will be peaceful, even as supporters brace for possible confrontation with security forces. With both sides standing firm, Gachagua's homecoming may become a defining test of Kenya's volatile mix with political rivalry, free expression, and state authority. As Kenya braces for a potential showdown on its streets, the political spotlight shifts slightly west to Cameroon, where legal battles are testing the grip of another long-standing leader, as legal challenge seeks to block Biya's 8-term bid in Cameroon. Cameroon's Constitutional Council is set to rule this Friday on a petition filed by opposition leader Akere Muna, seeking to disqualify 92-year-old President Paul Biya from October's election. Muna argues that Biya's advanced age, recurring health issues and presumed dependency on aid violate Article 118 of the Electoral Code, potentially rendering him constitutionally ineligible. The challenge comes as rival Maurice Kamto's exclusion deepens concern over ballot fairness, with right groups condemning mounting repression. Having ruled since 1982, Biya's grip on power faces rare legal scrutiny, but in Cameroon's political theatre, the gavel may yet prove as contested as the ballot box. From political power struggle in Cameroon, where the legality of long-standing leadership is under scrutiny, we turn to a different kind of challenge, this time economic. South Africa considers tariffs to protect steel industry from Chinese imports. South Africa's International Trade Administration Commission has recommended emergency import duties starting at 10% on steel products, warning that cheap imports mainly from China now make up 35% of domestic consumption and threaten firms in South Africa with collapse. Framed under WTO safeguard rules, the proposal follows similar restrictions in the EU and UK and could impact thousands of jobs if ignored. In a sector already crushed by weak demand and high cost, the warning is stark. Without protection, South Africa's steel backbone may snap. From economic pressures on South Africa's steel industries to the challenges faced by ordinary families abroad, global policies are leaving no corner untouched in international relations, where Washington suspends Zimbabwe visa services. The United States has suspended most visa applications for Zimbabwe, citing concerns with the Harari's government. The current visas remain valid and diplomatic categories exempt. The decision tied to past overstay issues. Zimbabwe's rate stood at 10.57% in 2023 and has sparked alarm among families now cut off from travel opportunities. As Washington also imposes $15,000 visa bonds for some Zambian and Malawian applicants, the move highlights a growing climate of restriction where mobility becomes yet another casualty of strained diplomacy. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. this. Continuing with international developments, Uganda agrees to host some migrants rejected by US under New Deal. Uganda has confirmed a temporary agreement with the United States to receive third country nationals who are denied asylum in America but unwilling to return home, excluding those with criminal records or unaccompanied minors. The Foreign Ministry says details are being worked out, with preference given to African nationals. Already hosting nearly 2 million refugees, Uganda's role as a US ally underscores its burden as a regional haven, reminding the world that when powerful nations close their doors, smaller ones often carry the weight. From refugee relief in Uganda to humanitarian crisis in Sudan, the human cost of conflict and displacement remains stark across Africa as Sudan Army denies bombing WFP convoy. Sudan's army has rejected accusations by the RSF that it bombed a World Food Programme convoy in Darfur, where 3 trucks were destroyed, though all staff survived. The WFP, warning that humanitarian operations must never be targeted, is assessing the damage as famine deepens amid a civil war that has displaced 12 million people. With both sides accused of weaponizing hunger, the attack underscores a grim reality. In Sudan's war, even bread is under siege. Let's shift focus to entertainment in Nigeria. Naira Marley breaks silence on Mohbad's controversy. Nigerian singer Naira Marley has posted a video explaining his side of the controversy surrounding the death of fellow artist Mohbad in September 2023. Marley, who was abroad at the time, said he was unfairly blamed online and by authorities despite providing passport evidence showing he was not in Nigeria. He questioned why the police detained him for weeks instead of investigating those who were with Mohbad in the hours leading to his death, officially linked to a medical injection. Speaking candidly, Marley highlighted the personal toll of public condemnation in a country where social media trial can overrule facts, even absence can become guilt. From the glare of public scrutiny in Nigeria to the global spotlight of football, the pressure of public expectation is undeniable as Messi faces pressure to shun Angola game over human rights concerns. Angolan civil society groups have urged Lionel Messi and the Argentine Football Federation to cancel a planned November friendly in Luanda, citing state repression after protests over fuel prices left 30 dead, 270 injured, and 1,500 arrested. Despite Angola's oil wealth, nearly a third of its 38 million people live in poverty, with 22.5% undernourished, fueling anger at lavish spending on sports while citizens face hunger. The group argued that Messi's withdrawal would be a powerful act of solidarity, proof that even the world's greatest player cannot dribble past injustices. From Kenya to Cameroon, South Africa to Angola, and Sudan to Uganda, today's headline reminds us that politics, policies, and human resilience are tightly intertwined. Across continents, the law, markets, and morality are constantly tested, and the lives of ordinary people are what hang in the balance. That's the story of our world today. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day and keep watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News.